Okay, welcome to the fifth installment of my historical battles. Today we will be fighting the Battle of Adrianapole between the Goths and the Romans. The year is 378 BC, and Emperor Valens is attempting to finish off the last of the Gothic tribe. The Goths were a tribe that lived in and around Thrace, and they'd slowly been forced back over 3 years of fighting with the Romans. And this battle takes place near the Turkish border. Essentially, all the Goths have is a baggage train, this last baggage train, and that's all they have to defend themselves with. It's fairly defensible, and the Goths have a sizable force. It's at least equal to, if not slightly larger than the Roman force. However, lag seems to be a problem in this one. So what you don't know is that I've pressed the inventory button. Oh yeah, that's lag. Right, so 378 BC, Adrianapole, Emperor Valens has marched his own personal army out to wipe out the remnants of the Goths, led by Fritigern. Now, the Romans in this battle, let's see what they've got. Let's see if I actually can do anything now. Ugh, lag. Okay, well, we'll try. So they start with essentially, because this is so early in Rome's history, they still haven't got professional soldiery. They still haven't got any of the legionary cohorts that you see later on, sort of 200 years in the future. And so this army is still very much an army of well-trained amateurs. Nevertheless, still a potent force and definite challenge for the Gauls defending. So essentially the army that I've created for the Romans here is lots of Hastati and Velites, and then a few units of cavalry. This is roughly what the Romans would have had in this particular battle, and I've upgraded the Hastati to give them a little bit more morale so they stay in the fight a bit longer. Wow, this lag's bad. Okay, let's see if I can get across the plain to get to the Arverni. I wonder if I click, it'll go there. And it does, good. Right. When I spread them out, hopefully it'll lag a little bit less, but we never know with these kind of things. Maybe it's the encampment. So, Fritigern had at his disposal poor melee infantry. However, his crucial weapon was his cavalry, which were much better than the Roman cavalry, much more numerous than the Roman cavalry, and in the historical battle it was Fritigern's cavalry which sealed the fate of the Romans, because the Goths do actually win this fight in history. And the Romans managed to barter an uneasy truce with them. Wow, this lag's appalling. I shall continue on, however. So we've got the heavy cavalry. Also we have plenty of reasonable spear units, but nothing special. Maybe a unit of heavy infantry here or there, but like I say, this is the last remnants of their entire faction, so they're really they've not got the best units available to them just yet. It was more likely when I zoomed out. Let's try zooming out, see if that... No, it's kind of laggy everywhere. Although that seems to have sorted it a little bit ish. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to have all the cavalry outside the fort to begin with. This is how Fritigern started his fight. However, the cavalry in history were hidden, and the Romans didn't see them until it was far too late, and that was what did for the Romans. So I do not have that advantage in this battle today. So although the balance of power is in my favour, and I should win, I'm fighting on the winning side for once, it's still not going to be easy, seeing as though the Romans are going to know exactly where my cavalry are, and they will be able to deal with it all the time, pretty much. So how am I going to defend? Well, I'm going to defend exactly how Fritigern did it. And essentially, I'm going to pack a few units, pretty much everything inside the encampment, and I'm going to defend the walls as the Goths did, and I'm going to wait for the Romans to come to me, and I'm essentially just going to try and hold them until they break. Very much in the same vein as the Battle of Watling Street in the last video that I did. There are 3 ways in here. At Adrianapole in history there were 4 ways in. So that's one thing that's going in my favour. What I'm also going to do, which may seem a little bit odd, is I'm going to stick 2 units of Celtic warriors outside the fortifications. Now, that may seem a little bit odd, but this, again, was what happened in real life. Fritigern deliberately put units outside their encampment to bait the Romans into attacking. And again, another thing that he did was he deliberately weakened the defense around the front entrance. This was by design, and it was a tactic which, as you would expect, made the Romans think, well, we can hit that and we can kill all these people very quickly if we hit the front entrance. And to the Romans' credit, Emperor Valens, who was leading them, he saw that, he saw the trick, and he also sent detachments around the sides where it was much better defended to try and split up the forces. However, he did send an awful lot of men through the front gate, and obviously they broke through because there's a lot of men attacking and not very many defending. So they broke through. However, what that did mean is that they got funneled into a kind of pocket where the Goths could kill them at their leisure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do exactly what Vortigern did. Why I keep saying Vortigern, I have no idea. So I'm going to defend the side entrances much more than the rear entrance. What I am going to do though is I'm going to stick all my missile units near the front. However, they're also going to stay in skirmish mode. Fritigern himself will be over here. Is that Fritigern? No, Fritigern will be over here. And it's going to be his job to push in on the Romans' right flank. I hope they attack them at the front. If not, you can tell what happens. If they attack this flank, then I'll pull everything around and do it that way. So let's start the battle. First thing that we're going to do with these cavalry is we're going to move them around. It's not a very clever tactic, we're just going to try and get a flank on the Romans. Fortunately, the lag seems to have cleared up a bit, so that's good. And as you would expect, the Romans are charging forward with all haste. Exactly what Valens did. He saw the Goths out of their encampment, and he attacked. What did the Goths do? Well, they ran back inside. They did their job. They've pulled the legionary cavalry away from the main group of Romans. And if I was a much better player at this game, I would have taken advantage and I'd have hit them with my heavy units of cavalry. As it is, I'm quite happy to let them come closer and closer and closer and have my guys fire at them. Let's get some faster fire going down. And I've already split up a good chunk of the Roman army. This unit of horse is far too weak, and I'm just going to go and gobble that up. I'm only gonna hit it. I'm only gonna hit one frenzied charge with the unit, because obviously I'm going to be needing charges later on. That's gonna hurt, and the legionaries are gonna get killed there. Need to kill them fairly quickly though, and we're gonna move back out of the way. Don't want to get into combat too much. So we're still fairly solid. I'm going to get these guys into a shield wall, make them super strong, because they're absolute bosses. And we're just going to keep pelting the Romans in general, and all the Romans are going testudo formation, which is awesome. Shows them using their intelligence. Let's make sure that these cavalry don't accidentally go and get themselves killed. There it is. They're sending a unit of Hastati off to attack my horses. I'm just going to move them back, refuse that fight, and I'm going to watch the Velites attempt to make my guys run, and they'll try and do that. There's nothing wrong with that. What I'm also going to do though is I'm going to make my Celtic warriors throw the flamey things, just to give myself a little bit more of a chance. Let's check on those cavalry. They're doing just fine. Now this unit of Velites once more has found itself isolated, and we can go and gobble them up. This is exactly what happened in the battle itself. The Goths, they took the Romans unit by unit. That is a horrible charge. And essentially, this is how the Romans lost. They sent in one unit at a time, and the Goths had too much to attack them with. I'm going to get that unit right out of there. So the Romans are still slowly advancing in testudo formation. Just general advance. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually fight this battle twice. I'm going to fight it once as the Goths, once as the Romans, and there's a reason for that, because the Romans lose this battle, and it's easy to see why. The Goths have a bigger army, a defensive position, all that jazz. However, the Romans could still have won. The Romans here are being silly. They're doing exactly what the Romans did in history. They hit one entrance. One entrance gets hit, and we'll see what happens in a second. I'm just going to finish wiping out this unit of Hastati over here. Again, that's a single unit that's been sent after my vastly superior horsemen. And now I'm going to go and try and hit this unit of Hastati in the back as well. Our general's under attack, that's no problem. So all the Romans now are in here. So what do? Well, we're going to send this unit a long way around. All the way around. So the Romans are now in this gap. Hastati are getting in there, and we're not going to engage them too much. We're going to take these two units and we're going to get them around to here. I need to stop that because that's the whole army moving there. So the Romans are coming in here, and we'll get two units of cavalry to rush over to there. And now we're starting to win this battle, but to really crush the Romans, they're being forced into a smaller and smaller gap, and the obvious has to occur. It's obvious what's going to happen, I hoped. Here we go. The Romans are already starting to flee, but unfortunately for them, it's just too late. And that's rather a horrible position to be in. Those Romans look dead, pretty much. Can't see any Romans left. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to continue this battle. See how many Romans I can kill. Because, again, like I say, in this battle, the Romans lost 2/3 of their army, which is a tremendous number. Look, there's not even enough room for them to move, and now they're just going to get massacred. Almost no Romans have escaped that. Nobody on those horses at all, and this has been an absolute bloodbath. So this is the first part of the Battle of Adrianapole. I'll do the second part in a whole new video, because otherwise it will be too long for YouTube. So as you can see, I've quite clearly massacred the Romans, and I'm gonna give it another go as I'm going to give it a go as the Romans, see if I can't do my bit, see if I can't make it work a bit better. Actually, this has been one of the most accurate battles that I've fought. So far, the Romans did exactly what I wanted them to do. They charged through the middle, albeit they did it a lot sooner than I'd expected. In history, Valens managed to start attacking these two side entrances before the cavalry came. But when the cavalry came, they mopped up all the Romans around the outside, and by that time the Romans were already inside, and it was a simple matter of just closing the door. I think I might actually win. I think I might actually kill every single guy in this. I might even get the achievement for it. That looks like they're all pretty much dead now. And it looks pretty much like GG. As you can see, now that the cavalry are gone, so many dead Romans there, it's not even true. Very few dead Goths, and it's horrible. Are there any Romans at all alive? No movement. That's pretty brutal. Now I'm here, I want the achievement, but I can't get it. Well, let's end that battle there. And we'll take a look at the results. There we go. The Goths deployed 2,760, lost 82, killed 1,569. That's a bit of an overstatement, I think. That's a rather fantastical result, but you get the general idea of how much the Romans suffered in this battle. And actually the amount of kills that are spread out are fairly accurate. The number of kills that the horses get is a lot. And as you can see, a lot of the Romans died, a few got away, but not many. So join me again for the second part of the Battle of Adrianapole, where I will attempt to fight this as the Romans. I can't imagine that I'm going to win, but you never know. I might get lucky. See you next time.